the voice of the voiceless. I'm Oakley.
Welcome to WeWantACup.com, our first show ever. This is a great moment for the website. This is a great moment for us. There's me, Matteo, Codispoti, the founder of WeWantACup.com, and Toronto's biggest fan, Troy Oakley.
That's right.
I want to tell you why the site is here and why we started the site. I'm a dad of a 4-year-old kid, and I grew up loving the Leafs. I want my son to grow up loving the Leafs. I look across the schoolyards right now and I see Ovechkin and Crosby jerseys. I don't see many Leaf heroes for the kids. I'm here to make sure that this team realizes that there's a fan base out here wanting some wins. It's wanting our heroes back. We deserve it. Not only do the kids deserve it, the fathers do. You know what? I deserve to sit with my dad.
Your father deserves it.
Myself and my son and watch a playoff game in this city. I feel sorry for the dads and moms who miss that with their kids.
The greens and the purples that go to ACC are the best fans of the Leafs. The greens and purples.
Listen, the Blackberry boys at the bottom that don't show up until the halfway through the first and halfway through the second, especially when the Leafs need a push at the beginning of each period.
And those are the worst fans that I'm talking about.
But that's what We Want a Cup is about.
We need to get rid of those people.
We are the bleachers. They're not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That's like saying don't go to the games, the Leafs will get better. That ain't going to happen, right? So we are the bleacher creatures. We are Leaf Nation. That's why We Want a Cup is here. The average fan. I don't know every rookie's last name or where they went to school.
The average fan is buying the suits tickets from scalpers outside the arena.
Going forward, what's going to happen today on this show? Oakley and I are going to fight a lot because I don't agree with anything he says.
I don't agree with anything he says either.
At all. After that, we're going to speak to our writers,
Dante
and Scott. We're going to run through the website, show you the great things we got going on. By the way, this is a new website for us, done by Zoohoo Productions. You can find them on the site too. They put their time and effort in. One thing that's important about We Want a Cup, as we start off and as we push forward, nobody's making money here. We're all just Leaf fans, pushing forward, getting the fan base together, doing what we do for fun, getting you involved, Leaf Nation, get behind us. People putting in their time for the website, for the production of the videos. This guy coming down here to bother me.
You know what, Matteo loves me. I'm the brother he wishes he never had. But let's be real here. There's a lot of great things about this site, but it's a grassroots campaign. It's starting from one person, his dream. So I guess I got to give the guy a bone, you know. And I'll give him Ron Wilson because that's his favorite bone. We're going to talk to Scott and we're going to talk to Dante. Nicely, absolutely.
Promise?
No, I'm never going to promise.
Welcome back to our first episode here at WeWantACup.com podcast. As I said earlier, we're going to be introducing one of our official writers, a great guy and a great addition to this site. He's put up a couple articles already and is going to continue throughout the year. So please check him out at WeWantACup.com. His name is Dante Martella on Twitter. You could get him at DMartella12, and he's got some great articles for us to read. His last article with us was The Lineup. So let's try to get him online right now. That reminds me of Dumber and Dumber, the most annoying sound.
Hi Dante, it's Oakley here and Matteo here at WeWantACup.com.
How's it going?
It's going.
Hey, Dante.
Love the background there, Dante. Oh wait,
Thanks a lot.
Is that a Crosby jersey in the background? Come on.
That's why it's being dominated by the real colors, so that's all that matters.
And you got to get rid of that Boston one too. But hey, listen, welcome to the team, and we saw your article that you just put up with the lineup, and Matteo had some questions for you about it.
Well, take us through, Dante. You got a lot of Leaf knowledge. You're a big fan. Like the rest of us here, you put in your time. You don't ask much, but you just want to get your words out there, get the fan base behind you. So tell us what the lineup is about. Tell us the high points or what you see as being the best part of our new lineup.
Well, basically what I decided to do was just kind of go through what the changes that we made in the summer that Brian Burke came up with. And he said that this is the lineup that we're set for the year, so I figured might as well take a look at what the strengths and weaknesses are. I figured each line, each pairing, every power play, everything had something that was good with it and something that was bad with it. For instance, the first line was a lot of balance with it. Joffrey Luke was a big guy, Tim Collins a passing playmaker, and Forecast is the sniper, obviously, but there's a lot of unfamiliarity with there. Like, Luke and Kessel, they've only played half a year. Conley's just coming into his first year. So I figured it's a toss-up there. You never know if they'll work both ways. And same with the second line. They played for a while together. They had some good success last year, but who knows, can they repeat their all breakout years? The third line I really like because there's a lot of competition there. It could be Kadri, Fratton, Coburn, anyone. Even if Lombardi's healthy, he'll be jumping up in there. If not, Bozak's there. So there's a lot of competition. Really, the only solidified spot is Armstrong on that line. They're all like an east-west game on the second line. Third line's a little rough and tumble, but with some scoring. So I like that. And on the fourth line, you got good old Mikey Brown, wheels me over there. He's just wheeling all the time. Bozak, Zigomanis, Boris, any of those guys can jump up. And Colt North, hopefully he's back from his concussion.
Right.
So really the weakness there is they've got limited offense, obviously, but they're not expected to provide much in that department. And then as far as defense goes, we got Ollie and Phaneuf, Riles, Shen, and we'll see if who makes it, Gunnarsson, Komisarek, or Franson.
Dante, obviously our friend Oakley here has something to say about that. I think he wants to praise Kessel a little bit here.
Okay,
Is that what you want to talk about?
No, you know what? I'm gonna break it down so that the morons that are watching the show can get this real clear. First line, okay, we got Kessel, we got Lupul, and we got Connolly. Kessel has been over 30 goals postseason since he went to the Leafs. He had great chemistry with Lupul last year. Lupul stays healthy, it's going to be a good run, and a lot of it's contingent upon Connolly staying healthy, because Connolly will get Kessel a puck. I'm sorry, you can't compare Boyce or Joey Crabb or that sack of bricks Bozak to a guy like Tim Connolly, regardless of the glass job.
I'm going to go after that one, right in front of Dante. I'm going to go after that one. Finish what you're going to say.
Second line, C-Mac, McCarthy, Kuhlman, and Grabowski. I believe Grabowski or Kuhlman is in a contract year, so this line's going to be even better than last year. Third line, you're right. Kadri, Fratton could possibly make the third line. Colburn's not making this team. It's just not going to happen. And fourth line, really? You mentioned Mike Brown. Does that guy even have a job? And Tyler Bozak? Tyler Bozak would not be a starter on an elite team. He'd be like on a sixth line. He'd be in, you know what? You know where you should send him? I know there's a lot of leagues in Europe need hockey players right now. Send Tyler Bozak over there.
Let me stop you right there. Now, Dante, I don't know if you agree with me here, all right? But let's take Bozak. And all these guys that are all over Bozak. The poor guy, I agree, he's not a first line, not a second line, maybe a third line.
He's not a third line player.
Last year, he stayed on the first line against every checking line in the league. Maybe he doesn't even deserve to be with the Martys. But as a Leaf fan, you always got to respect the guy who goes out there on the first line.
Because I know what it's like personally. I'm not going to respect the guy that I know personally.
I don't care.
No, it does. It's called ethics and morality and integrity.
Okay, we're out of line. This whole section's getting out of line.
Good. The show is raw and uncensored. If you have no ethics and no morality, then you don't belong on the Toronto League.
Let me finish what I got to say about Bozak, all right?
He's a jackass. He doesn't belong on the team.
But he stood out there on the first line against...
Because Wilson put him there. Because Wilson has the IQ of Roddy Potatoes.
Yes, but he never complained.
Because he's getting to play first line.
Well, you go stand in front of Lucic and take a face-off with him.
I would tear Lucic's head off.
The guy would put you in a post.
I'm as big as Lucic, okay?
Anyways, Dante writes some good stuff. Let's move on. Don't be saying bad words on this show.
It's raw and uncensored.
Now,
if I want a pity party,
my question
if I want a pity party, I want to be fed candy sugar-coated crap. I'd go watch Leafs TV and I'd listen how they blow each other. And go, Wilson, you're so awesome.
You can't say stuff like that, man. You got to cut that stuff out. All right, move on.
Uncensored.
Dante, I got a question for you about the lineup. All right, my question here, which obviously is going to get our dirty mouth friend over here all excited, is I don't like the fact that we're going with 2 rookie goalies. I really don't. I don't know that Reimer is going to be the savior or not going to be the savior. I don't know that. I know that Gustafsson, as good as he was, also had his moments last year of not being so good. So at this point, am I right in saying that there's a reason to believe that we have 4 young goalies ready to play, 5 young goalies ready to play, and a rapper? So is it reasonable to think that Berkey walked into that goalie staff and said, listen, guys, this may not be a playoff year for us. I'm not holding you accountable. Let's build your confidence this year and just go for it. Otherwise, why would a GM looking to get in the playoffs start with 2 rookie goalies? How's he washed it out?
I don't think Burke's the type of guy to BS or yank anyone's chain about it. He's as straightforward as they come. So him coming out and saying that to fans and saying that this could be a playoff year, that's our goal, and then going behind closed doors and saying that's not going to happen. I just don't see that happening. But as far as rolling Reimer and Gustafsson, it's questionable at times just because, Reimer's only had X amount of games, 40 games or whatever it is, and Gustafsson was too busy trying to find his own heartbeat in between games.
Oh, so. And you get after me for talking about tampons and douches? This guy's talking with his heart? No, he's talking raw nonsense, which I respect. But if he's going to rip on the guy for having a heart, then I'm going to rip on Wilson.
Look, the guy's trying to smile, all right? He's trying. You got to let him talk. Go ahead.
I love Dante.
He was talking about the heartbreak.
Except you cannot bash Jonas Gustafsson. He's not a rookie.
All right, we won't touch the heartbreak kid. Go ahead.
I'm going to break you like this.
When he gets his chance, he showed that he can play. At the end of his first season, he was 7-0. He's still making the adjustment from the Swedish Elite League and whatnot, and refining his game to the Francois Allaire style. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, personally, I think that it all comes down to Reimer. If Reimer can take the reins and run with him, not that I don't have faith in Gustafsson, but I think he could be a great support guy where they can even share the load. But I don't think one guy's going to have to try and steal it, but I don't see a guy playing 70 games like a Carey Price or something
Let me
like
ask you,
that.
Dante, because I'm a big Jonas fan. I've always been a Gustafsson fan, and it was one of the few things that Brian Burke actually did right. But my gut tells me the reason that they didn't go out and sign a veteran goalie this year, and this is don't get your ego all excited either, Matteo. I think they're giving Jonas a bit of an audition for 20, maybe 25 games. Show the rest of the NHL that he can do something, because there's a lot of rosters right now that have very, very old doors. I mean, Brodeur's 6,000 years old. His backup Hedberg's 9 million years old. So I think he's showcasing Gustafsson with the hope that his heart has no longer been an issue, and they can play 20, 25 games, show the release good, and then they can pick up some useless pile-on like Ald or Garand or some useless crap like that.
Listen, at the end of the day, I like the Monster. I have
both love the Monster.
Big hopes for the Monster. I hope he makes.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I still like him.
And I think all of Leaf Nation has a spot in their heart for this.
No.
Yeah, I think they do.
No.
Okay, so the majority of us do. All right, the majority of us do.
50-50. Do you read Twitter? Do you read Facebook?
Yes, I'm there.
The guy's literally dying on an operating table. Twice he had surgery last year. And all the fans around are saying is, the guy's got no heart. Oh, the guy sucks. Yeah, well, you know what?
No, they said he had a broken
let me cut your chest open. Play tic-tac-toe on your heart and see what kind of lifestyle you can lead.
I agree. No. Okay, but as a fan, all right, personally.
Toronto fans are the worst fans on the planet.
Dare you. Personally,
they are.
I think that it would be nice, it would be really nice if Monster did what he had to do, and we had a good pairing of Reimer and Gustafsson.
45-35.
The question is it the best decision for this team at this point?
It is
from a Brian Burke perspective. I don't think so. Dante?
It is. It's sink or swim with these two.
Your name's
right?
not Dante.
Shush.
What other option do we have at this point, right? I was actually hoping that they'd give him another start, but then once I had a chance to think of it, I mean, you can't take away a hot goalie. They were in that push for the playoffs if you believe they could make it, but you can't exactly just give Reimer a few games and then just yank him out of there when he's still playing well. So, I mean, Gustafsson had a lot of problems that year, so he had to go down and prove that he could do it. And I mean, he played lights out in the AHL, but that was only 2 or 3 games, so we'll see. He really needs to get, like you guys said, 20, 25 games, show what he can do, but that may take all season, because if Reimer plays all year, then if Reimer saw it all year, then that could take all season for him to hit 20, 25 games, so we'll see what happens.
Joining our team. You're a big part of our team, and we're really happy to have you with us, and I'd like to state that for everyone that you're a talented guy, enjoy your writing, and it is a big pleasure to have you on our team.
Thanks a lot. Well, likewise, it's a huge opportunity for me, and I couldn't be happier joining such a hardworking team, but and good writers as well, but in terms of what I hope to accomplish with WeWantACup.com is I want all of Leafs Nation to realize that there should be no fear in going out there and supporting your team, no matter if you've been supporting them for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 4 decades, whatever the case may be. You shouldn't have that fear just because there have been struggles of late and dating back to the 60s and whatnot. But the whole goal is that we should be together now just so that we can be together when the time eventually comes that we're champions. So
do we make the playoffs, Dante?
Everyone backing off now and then all jumping on the bandwagon when it eventually does happen.
I'll shoot the bandwagon jumpers, don't worry about that. Do we make the playoffs this year, Dante? I'd say 10th place finish.
I say a real dogfight on the shoulders of Roheimer. I think they can scrape out an 8th place win, 8th place for the playoffs. I really think it's going to be really close to 9th place.
Really? So you're okay with the Messiah worship of a guy that's played less than 40 games in the NHL? Just want to remind you about Goosen.
He's not saying he's okay with it. He's just
I know, but I'm saying season
we're going
one.
to wrap this up with Dante because this guy is putting words in his mouth. So that's it. Dante, give us a final word. I don't think they make it. I think they do the Heartbreak Kid thing right at the end.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Again, thanks for joining us.
Do you want some sweet chin music?
Listen,
come on,
final word. Dante,
it's your word.
Take us out, buddy. Take us out.
Yeah, so my final word, I would say probably a heartbreaking 9th place finish, but we should be used to it and just don't stop cheering because that's all we can do at this point.
Wait, I have one question for Dante before he goes. If the prognosticators are right and the Leafs do not make the playoffs, is this the year they finally get rid of Burke and Wilson?
Why get rid of Burke?
Oh, God.
It's not happening.
We're doomed.
All right, Wilson's got to go. Burke's going to stay. Dante, you're amazing. Next piece, we look forward to it. Get it to us. We'll post it right away in Twitter out there.
For sure.
Facebook. Join us. Check out his stuff. Thanks, guy.
Thanks, Dante. Have a great one.
Now, that was Dante DeMartella. So, number 12, at DeMartella number 12 on Twitter.
An article that was written by one of the lead writers here at WeWantACup.com. His name is Scott Wheeler. And this article that he wrote made some great points. It's called Wheeling and Dealing with Brian Burke. And we're going to get Scott Wheeler on the phone and we're going to ask him some questions about that article.
Great to have Scott with us. He's a great addition to the site, and he'll be adding all kinds of great articles and game updates throughout the year. So please check out his work when you come to WeWantACup.com. And here we go. That's a hand.
Hey, Scott, it's Oakley here, and I've got Matteo beside me.
Hi, guys.
How you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Good, good. Listen, this is the first show, and not everybody knows who you are, and I want to introduce the masses to your brilliant writing. Just recently read your article, Wheeling Dealing with the Little Short Irishman, Brian Burke. And we had some questions and commentary regarding that some of those trades and the article. And the first thing I want to ask you right off the bat before we get into the actual articles, are you a Burke fan or are you not a Burke fan?
I am a Burke fan. I think he's done a great job in Anaheim, and he's starting to pull things together here. But we need playoffs, and that's all that matters at this point. He's had some time. He's had some time to get things rolling, had some time to rebuild the mess, but now it's time for playoffs, nothing else.
Okay, so, and one of the keys that get you to the playoffs is strong goaltending, strong offense, and a strong defense. For the first time in years, Toronto actually has five goaltenders in the system that can be most likely counted on. You've got Reimer, you've got Gustafsson, you've got Scrivens, you've got Awuya, and you've got the Finnish sensation, UC Reinus. But I don't want to talk about him because I want to talk at the top. Phil Kessel. We gave up an awful lot to get Phil Kessel. Let me ask you, obviously I'm a fan of Kessel because he's legitimately going to be a 40 to 50 goal scorer. But let me ask you this. If the Leafs hadn't choked like they normally do every year, and they had to finish in a half-decent ranking, would fans be so angry with the trade of bringing Kessel here? Or is it just because they finished in the bottom?
If we were a playoff team and we were competing, I don't think the fact that we gave up those 2 first-round picks would matter, but it's all speculation at this point. When it comes down to it, nobody knows how Tyler Seguin or Dougie Hamilton are going to turn out, and we've got ourselves a proven 30-goal scorer, so hopefully we can turn it around with him.
I'd like to interject there. The fact of the matter is not whether the fans are upset at this point with what happened with that trade. The fact of the matter is that trade was put in place by Burke, like he did in Anaheim with Pronger, like he did in Vancouver with the Sedin sisters. He tried to bring in a ringer. And when he did that, he stood up in front of Leaf Nation and he told us, listen, we're going to do this trade. We have enough cans in the cupboard. Going forward, this is going to make us a competitor. This is going to make us compete right away. So we didn't go the traditional rebuild route. We took Kessel on to compete and get into the playoffs right away. That didn't happen. That was a bust. That was his big shot. That was his swing for the fences. So at this point, and I like Burke. I think a lot of the stuff he's done is great. But that was his big move.
How do you call that a failure? In 2 seasons with the Leafs, the kid who's still less than 25 years of age has scored over 30 goals, and he has nobody around him to do it.
Okay.
And no, wait. In any other market, when people have nobody else to play with, they're told how amazing they are. They're told what amazing up there. Kessel gets ripped. The kid is less than 25 years old.
All right, but you're taking cans out of the cupboard. All right, I don't know if you agree with me here, Scott, but you're taking cans out of the cupboard telling the fan base that this is going to do it. This is going to make us a competitor. You bring in someone that people can play with, not needs players to play with.
Okay, so take Kessel's 35 goals out of the lineup, and then where you are.
So where is he?
Yeah, you're nowhere without Kessel. I think I'd have to agree and disagree to a certain extent. Kessel needs to produce, but it's a team game, and Burke needs to put moves into place that can help us on defense, help our forwards up front. And we just flat out need more depth. You can't make the playoffs with one goal scorer. And the fact that we haven't made the playoffs with him, I don't think it's fair enough to blame it on him.
I don't think it's fair enough to blame it on Kessel either. I think that swing for the fences to this point has been a bust.
How can you say it's a bust?
Yeah.
He's a 35 goal scorer right now.
That move was made, and that took us out of a traditional rebuild.
Jared Knight is overrated.
Point.
He's going to do nothing. Dougie Hamilton might turn to be a half-decent number 4 and number 6 defenseman. Wicked. We got enough defensemen. We got enough defensemen to start our whole entire team. Wait a minute, we do call them the Marlies. And Tyler Seguin has played one significant period in his entire life. One period. So I will take...
So you're saying that guy doesn't have 70 points written all over him?
No chance in hell. He's going to get 50, 60 goals.
90% of the hockey world says that.
You get what you do. You get a guy who's going to get 35 goals or more every single year for a potential player who might be good.
I'm not saying that Kessel was a bad thing. I'm not saying that Kessel is a bad player. I think he's great, but he's no better at this point, number-wise, than Kuhlman.
You're out of your mind.
Grabowski.
You're out of your mind.
They both got 30 goals.
But they played
at the end of the day, it's Burke's job to get us into the playoffs, and that hasn't happened. I always said it's a failure.
Right. Okay. So, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is that the move was made in order to get us in a compete position right away. That hasn't happened.
Take Kessel
we have to call this a failure.
No, you can't, because if you take Kessel,
business.
If you take Kessel on it, the team is significantly worse.
But they're in a rebuild where they're drafting right up.
They've been rebuilding since 1967. Let's not use that excuse.
That move took us out of the traditional rebuild and put us in a compete right away.
Because we didn't give up any roster players to get Kessel. We gave up draft picks.
The Kessel deal has to get off this show because we can't have
he's the single most polarizing.
All the time.
He's the single most polarizing figure on Leafs.
So why don't you go hug him? Let's go to the next.
I bet Kessel ain't fucking. Well,
all right, Scott, take us to something else. This guy likes Kessel too much. I don't like the deal.
We gave up 3 draft picks, and the only player that's actually played in the National Hockey League.
Final word is.
It's always going to be the biggest debate in Toronto, bar none.
And when Kessel gets 45 goals this year, I want you to look at Oakley and say, "My God, that guy is a freaking genius." Next.
Next, Scott, take us to Berkey's best deal. What do you like best?
I'd have to go with the Phaneuf deal, and Phaneuf wasn't even the gem of that deal. I'd have to go with Keith Oakley. Keith Oakley's a stud. He's going to be huge for us. He's projected, and I think he can pan out easily as a top 4 pairing defenseman. He's big. He can hit. We've seen him smash people. So the future's looking bright. And look at who we gave up. We gave up Matt Stajan, who signed a ridiculous contract and scored under 5 goals this year. We gave up Jamal Myers, who's done nothing. And we gave up Ian White and Nick Hagman. Nick Hagman got demoted, so can't really balk at that. And it was tough to see Ian White go, one of the best stashes ever. But at the end of the day, you got Keith Oakley and you got our captain, who's helped us turn it around in a sense. So
I have to disagree. I don't think that's the best trade Burke has actually made. I think the best trade he's actually made was getting rid of Boschman and getting Gardner and Lupul. Lupul showed amazing chemistry with Kessel. They're going to have a full season to build on that. Kessel is just going to light it up with Lupul because everybody knows Kessel's a great player. And Gardner, I've seen this kid play. This kid is the real deal. He skates effortlessly. I don't like comparing young players to Hall of Famers, but the skating ability is eerily reminiscent of a guy like Niedermeyer or even Coffey.
Take us to what you're writing about next. I know that it's a big part of hockey right now is headshots and concussions. I know that you have some personal history in that area. And can you lead us into your next story that we'll be posting on WeWantACup.com?
Yeah, for sure. I've had problems with concussions my entire life. Still struggle with them every day. And I think now more than ever it's important to educate people. People need to understand the symptoms. People need to understand the problems related. There's young kids out there playing hockey. It's become a major issue. Just by looking at the leagues, you can see Connolly, Lombardi, even Colton Orr at the end of last year all struggled with concussion problems. And then, of course, Sid the Kid. So more than ever, it's important to educate people on concussions, allow people to be safe, and that's what my next piece will be on, just concussions in hockey and things you need to know.
Then why don't you add Grabowski to that list, because Brian Burke and Ron Wilson clearly don't have a clue in Toronto how to deal with people that are actually injured. Grabowski came out and admitted at the end of this year that he was concussed in the game. It was no surprise. I mean, Char is a freaking Neanderthal, and I mean he should be playing in the Russian Penal League, not over in the National Hockey League. But I mean, the Bruins are a bunch of felons anyway. But
yeah, they stole a cup.
The fact of the matter is, Grabowski was legitimately injured, and I was an RN for 12 years. And right at that game, I said that guy's got a concussion. There's no way he should be playing. And he came back and he played. And I look at Paul Cree as an example. Paul Cree represented Canada on numerous occasions. He hasn't played hockey for a while. He said he was 110% felt great. He went to his physician not that long ago, and his physician says, you have 20% brain loss. You can't play hockey again.
They did put in the rule at the end of the year of the quiet room, right? So that Grabowski hit would have been analyzed a little bit more at the end of the year than it was when it did happen.
Colton's got to retire, by the way.
So that being said, which league is it now? The OHL that has the soft pads? One of the leagues out there introduced these.
Yeah, the Canadian Hockey League under David Branch is actually implementing softer padding, so we'll see how that goes. But with the size of these guys, it's anybody's game, and the speed that they're at these days, I'm not sure it'll do much of a difference, but we'll see. Hope for the best.
So you don't think it's the hard pads? You think it goes beyond that and the size? I
think it's a combination of the size, the speed, and the pads. Don Cherry, one of the greatest.
Yeah,
Don Cherry is one of the greatest men in Canadian history, and he's been telling people for probably the last 2 decades. He would show people on Hockey Night in Canada. He'd show these pads that were like basically they looked like pieces of paper.
Armor.
And then he would show the modern day equipment, and it was like armor. And it's no wonder people are getting killed. Well, since I talk so much, Scott, I just want to say on behalf of Oakley and all my legions of fans and lovers and haters, I want to thank you for taking time to meet with us tonight and talk to us. I really enjoy reading your articles, really enjoy conversing with you through the social media realms. And the fact of the matter is we are all Leaf fans. And unfortunately, some Leaf fans like Matteo just don't get it, and they don't have a clue that Kessel is the man to lead us to the promised land. Well, we'll see you on the flip side.
This guy tried to get the last word. Say bye last, Scott. Say bye last.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. I know that you want to get a word in all the time about everything, but I did hear, and I do want to talk to you about your Jeep. What the hell happened with your Jeep?
Well, the great thing about Ontario laws is you can talk on a cell phone illegally and smash someone when they're at a red light. So my beloved Jeep, the iconic cruiser that it was, the 2 Cherokee, was deemed unsafe, and they wrote it off. And it's a sad day for me. It's like when the Leafs are eliminated every year from playoff contention, which is usually February, March. So the vehicle's written off, but I got to tell you,
throw the shot.
I got to say one prop real quick. One of the greatest trips of my entire life was going to Ottawa with one of the producers of this show, Brad Machry.
See it on our website over here.
We went to Ottawa. We went there. We saw the Sens get destroyed by the Leafs, and it was one of the best road trips I've ever had. A lot of good things about that trip. And you know what? The Jeep may be gone, but those memories of going on the road, watching, and proudly wearing my Leaf jersey, and also proudly wearing this jacket. We won a cup, and having so many fans in Toronto go, holy hell, where did you get this jacket? I want this.
Do we have anybody back there that can get us a Kleenex or something for my friend?
So I'm on the hunt for a new Leaf mobile, so any suggestions, shout them out to me on Twitter, or I'll just be taking Mateo's car, either or. But God love you. We love you, Leaf Nation. Can't wait to see you again. You can take that violin and you can stick it right up your... Newcastle was steal of the century. Getting the guys who can get 50 goals scored
Well,
for a sack
what?
of pucks like Sagan.
Are you listening to
Justin
this,
Hamilton.
man? Finally, somebody agrees with me.
The man is clearly brilliant, elevated above
Not only
the
that,
immortals.
not only that. It's